Alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So inshallah we'll continue with our overview of the messages given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for our guidance in Soorah Al-Baqarah. And today we'll be starting with verse 63. By now that we had reminded ourselves from the messages that Bani Israel were given the responsibility to not only themselves practice the deen of Islam, but also to make the deen of Islam as the governing system of life in the society and to spread it all over the world. So it was for that purpose Musa alayhi salam was sent to them, and it was for that purpose that they were taken out of Egypt, so they can be brought out from a position of weakness. They can be trained, they can be given full vigor and energy to do the job which they were given. So for that purpose, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala helped them with miracles. The sea was parted for them. All their needs were taken care of. The food was provided. The water and the shelter needs, all needs were taken so that they can focus on becoming the fully dedicated workers of Islam to establish the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But in every situation, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did favor to them, instead of appreciating the favor and focusing on the objectives of deen which were given to them, they were then punished by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the verses we had recited up to verse 62, up to verse 61, they were listing the crimes they committed after all the favors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then in verse 62, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shattered their idea that they are chosen people just because they are the descendants of Ibrahim alayhi salam and Ishaq alayhi salam and Yaqub alayhi salam. That's what they're thinking. Because they are descendants of those people, they are chosen people. Whether they do what is required or not, they didn't care. And for that reason, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala became angry with them and cursed them. And while mentioning this, we should note this point, that when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions some serious crime like that, before continuing the remaining list, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first mentions the punishment they got for their disobedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and the abdication of the responsibility which was given to them. So in this situation, although the list of their disobediences was still continuing, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala stopped there in verse 62, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala emphasized that because they had knowledge there, Rasul sallallahu alayhi salam, Musa alayhi salam was there, they had clear targets given, but even then they didn't perform their duty. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala became angry with them and cursed them. So now, from verse 63, the list of their crimes continues. And in here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has mentioned, وَإِذْ أَخَذْنَا مِيثَاقَكُمْ وَرَفَعْنَا فَوْقَكُمُ الطُّورَ خُذُوا مَا آتَيْنَاكُمْ بِقُوَّةٍ وَاذْكُرُوا مَا فِيهِ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. And also remember when we took your covenant and lifted the mountain over you. And what was the warning given in that situation? خُذُوا مَا آتَيْنَاكُمْ بِقُوَّةٍ. Hold firmly to what we have given you, and remember what it contains, so that you may avoid displeasing me, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So in this situation, after all these things had happened, that they disobeyed Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala after seeing all the miracles. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had invited their leadership. The 70 people who were leading them, they were invited to the Mount Sinai, and there they got the forgiveness from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took a strong covenant from them. The situation was made so dreadful, so scary, that as if the Mount Sinai is hovering over them, and if they disobey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it will come over them and crush them. So under that kind of very fearful circumstances, a covenant was taken from them that whatever guidance Allah has revealed to them, they will live according to that guidance, and they made this covenant strongly, so that they will be living according to that and working for the objectives of deen which has been given to them. Even then, what happened? ثُمَّ تَوَلَّيْتُم مِّن بَعْدِ ذَلِكَ فَلَوْلَا فَضْلُ اللَّهِ عَلَيْكُمْ وَرَحْمَتُهُ لَكُنتُم مِّنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ. So then you turn back after that. So were it not for the grace of Allah and His mercy on you, you would certainly have been among the losers. وَلَقَدْ عَلِمْتُمُ الَّذِينَ نَعْتَدَوْا مِنْكُمْ فِي السَّبْتِ فَقُلْنَا لَهُمْ كُونُوا قِرَدَةً خَاسِئِينَ. And certainly you have known those among you who violated the Sabbath. So we said to them, become apes despised. فَجَعَلْنَاهَا نَكَالًا لِمَا بَيْنَ يَدَيْهَا وَمَا خَلْفَهَا وَمَوْعِظَةً لِلْمُتَّقِينَ. So we made it, the punished community, those people who were punished for the violation of the Sabbath. So we made them an example to those around it and those who succeeded it, and an admonition to those equipped with taqwa. So in this situation mentions that after taking the covenant from them, that they will obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they will fashion their society, their lifestyle, everything according to the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. After all those commitments, they still violated them. So then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in this time the punishment came that Allah made them apes. Now what was this condition, how it happened, we don't know the details, but if you reflect upon the psychology of apes and the psychology of human beings, you will find that what makes human beings different from animals, from apes, that human beings they are not pre-programmed to just do what they are supposed to, what their instincts dictate to them. They can review their behavior, they can watch what they are doing is right or wrong, and then they can make decisions accordingly, and they can override their instincts and do what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants them to do. Animals don't have that capability. I mean, animals cannot review what they are doing and then whether it's right or wrong. Animals cannot see that, what kind of intention they have at that time. They just do whatever their instinct tells them. So if human beings are going to go that way as well, if they are not going to give their worldly needs so much importance that they don't even care about what's right, what's wrong, they don't view themselves and see whether they are following the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then what's the difference between apes and human beings? So this is the kind of situation quickly, because we will be hearing from Shaykh Usta as well. I want to just remind ourselves that the lesson we learn from this history which of Bani Israel, which Allah SWT has put right at the beginning of Surah Al-Baqarah, like the Holy Qur'an in Soorah Al-Baqarah, that Allah SWT has given us the same responsibility, that not only we practice the deen of Islam, but we make it the governing system of life on this earth, and we make it dominant way of life. And for that purpose, whatever we have to do, we do it. Whatever sacrifices we have to make, we make those sacrifices. Whatever dedication is needed, we provide that dedication. We take time and energies out of our worldly matters and allocate that to the establishment of deen, and making sure that our individual and our collective life is run according to the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And if we don't do that, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will treat us in the same manner as those people were treated at that time, and we will be suffering the same kind of consequences. So that's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put it in the beginning. When we go to Holy Quran to seek guidance, this guidance comes in front of us, that how we need to dedicate ourselves, our time, our resources, our energies, our capabilities for the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to make all our individual and collective decisions according to the deen, and making the deen the governing system of life. And if we don't do that, then we are inviting the anger and the la'na, the curse from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us from that, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us among those who give due importance to the deen and allocate their time and energy and resources for the deen as it is required. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept it from us, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us among people who will be He is pleased with, and take us to Jannah. So these were a few reminders, and I invite Shaykh Usta to talk about Seerah of the Prophet.